Good morning, everybody. I'm Mike Quick, and welcome to Madison Square Garden Network's Tri-State Area High School Football Game of the Week. These games are produced by local cable affiliates of MSG. This morning, it should be a great one. Arch rivals, number 2 Wayne Hills on the road at Ramapo High School. The game is produced by Cablevision of North Jersey, and standing by in Franklin Lakes, Cablevision Steve Tober and David Weinberg.
Saturday night. Great to be with you here on the Cablevision North Jersey Game of the Week. We also want to welcome in our MSG Tri-State audience for the MSG Tri-State Game of the Week. And Coach Weinberg, this is interesting. The Wayne Hills wants to get the first hits in on defense. They have deferred, and they will kick off.
It seems to be something we're seeing more and more each week. I think it's the third week in a row we've seen teams win the toss and then defer, having enormous confidence in their defense and hoping to get the ball in the second half in good position.
Ryan Pizzari is deep along with Josh Walkowitz. And Rick Pignatello will kick off. Wayne Hills in the road white, Ramapo in the home green. And our mega matchup in the NBIL in North Jersey is underway. Pignatello's short kick scooped by Walkowitz, who's taken down near the 30-yard line. Let's look at the offensive unit for the Raiders of Ramapo. Up front in the trenches, and a fairly inexperienced offensive line. Justin King, Jim Ishkanian, Joe Barcelona is the center, Adam Visconti the right guard, and the veteran of the group, Carson Parmalee, is the right tackle. Your backs and receivers, the tight end is Blake Costanzo, the split end Jeff Miller, a 3-year starter, the flanker Ryan Pizzari, the quarterback Tom Groves, the fullback Andrew Recchione, and the tailback in place of Chris Anzano is Josh Walkowitz. First and 10 from the 27-yard line. Walkowitz gets the call, and he stopped almost immediately after a 1-yard pickup. Paul Ogden in on the tackle. Let's look at the Wayne Hills defense. The 4-4 alignment. Greg Olson, the other son of head coach Chris Olson, at the left defensive end. Mike Otterbein, Paul Ogden the tackles. Chris Hannenberg is the right defensive end. The linebackers, Jeff Wells, Chris Zambelli, just a sophomore in the middle, along with Dave Adamo, and Brian Williams on the outside. Your secondary, and it's a good one, Bill Monin at one cornerback, Brendan Monahan is the safety, and Rick Pignatello is the right cornerback. 2nd and 9. And probably a motion call against the Raiders.
Moving that motion man across the field towards the wide side, trying to get a flood pattern.
Get ball foul. Ball start. Offense.
Ball start on Ramapo, 5-yard penalty.
So that'll make it a 2nd and 14 as the ball's moved back to the 24-yard line. Just underway, first quarter, on an absolutely gorgeous night here in Franklin Lakes, up in Bergen County. Wayne Hills from Passaic County, the best team in Passaic County. And Ramapo, in a very talent-rich Bergen County, has a great history of its own. Tom Gross, barking signals, 3 steps, completes to Miller, and Miller keeps his feet and finds the sideline, and Miller finally dragged down at the 48-yard line. Oh, what a nice reception, 24 yards for Jeff Miller.
Just a little bit of a hitch comeback pass. What they're trying to do is get their great receiver in one-on-one in the open field against the cornerback. And in that instance, you saw a missed tackle, and that's where he picks up the extra yards. He's a third-year starter in that position. All he's doing is driving the cornerback off, then coming back towards the ball. And the magic happens, of course, after he makes contact here with the defender, keeps his balance nicely, moves the ball to the sideline, then comes upfield.
First and 10 from the 48, Walkowitz sweeping right. Walkowitz dragged down from behind. Good job of getting around that Wayne Hills defensive side, finally brought down by the safety, Brendan Monahan.
I think Walkowitz is going to be one of the secret keys tonight to the Ramapo offensive success, whether or not it goes. It's kind of an unknown quantity of sorts. He has had a few touchdowns, 7 already. But, of course, that's Anzano, some big shoes to fill.
2nd and 6 in Wayne Hills territory at the 48-yard line. Miller wide to the near side. Pizzari is wide to the top of your screen, now in motion. Play action, and handoff goes to Walkowitz in a huge gaping hole. Walkowitz still on his feet. Walkowitz smells end zone. Touchdown Ramapo. 48 yards.
Walkowitz shows us he can fill those big shoes of Anzano.
Rick Troutman is an outstanding place kicker who will come on to attempt the extra point. Walkowitz with his 9th rushing touchdown of the year. Remember, he has stepped into the starting role for the injured Chris Anzano, out with a season-ending knee injury against Northern Highlands last week. Low snap, kick is up, and the kick is good.
Now they're going to try to get some strong side, weak side confusion here in the part of the Wayne Hills defense. You're going to see the motion come down the screen. Then watch number 3 lead the way for his blocking back, Walkowitz. He does a nice job right off of that block there. Jeff Wells being taken out of the play by the lead block of Andre Recchione. And there you go, Josh Walkowitz showing right from the get-go, hey, I can play as well as Anzione. I can fill those shoes.
4 plays, 72 yards, just 223. And, Coach, one of the keys to the game that Drew Gibbs, there you see the rookie head coach for Ramapo, said, the offensive line taking control. They certainly did on that drive. What a hole for Walkowitz on the right side.
Well, at that time, what they do is they step 45 to try to get the outside angle. And as I say, you saw Andrew Recchione coming in and leading the block from that wing position. And then Josh is off to the races.
Krautman will kick off, and deep will be Bill Monin and Rick Pignatello. Krautman, one of the exceptional place kickers in all of New Jersey. For fans not familiar with the young man, kicked a 41-yard field goal against Wayne Hills as a freshman to send a game into overtime, eventually won by Wayne Hills 17-14.
Well, the best thing he can do for Ramapo right now is put it in the end zone.
And it's a good kick, and it sails into the end zone, and Pignatello can only watch it, and Wayne Hills will take over 1st and 10 at their 20-yard line.
That's the best kickoff coverage you could possibly expect, is not to let them take the ball out in high school ball, an automatic touchback, bringing it out to the 20.
Let's look at the starting offense for the Patriots. Up front in the trenches, it's a unit led by the right tackle, Ziggy Gorin, Brett Demers, Brad Reiser, Chris Hannenberg, and Jeff Kolb as the center. We'll check the backs and receivers after this play. 1st and 10 from the 20. Come on! Brian Williams. Brian Williams across the 25-yard line out to the 27. Let's look at those backs and receivers, which include Brian Williams, one of the great halfbacks in all of New Jersey. The tight end is Greg Olson, the younger brother of the quarterback Christian. Bill Monin, the exceptional split end. Rick Pignatello, the flanker. Christian Olson at the direction of the offense as the signal caller. Dave Adamo, the fullback, and Brian Williams, a young man with 57 career touchdowns. Last year's state leading scorer, 2nd and 1. Williams for the first. Let's look at the defensive alignment in the 4-3 for Ramapo. Mike Sisler, the left defensive end. Adam Visconti, the left defensive tackle. Jim Ishkanian, the right tackle. David Silberstein is the right defensive end. Linebackers, Kevin Donlin, Andrew Recchione in the middle, and he's a real good one. Blake Costanzo is the right linebacker. We'll check the secondary after this play. Adamo, the fullback, still on his feet. Good job by Adamo, who rolls forward across the 40. The ball was already whistled dead when it scooted loose. Here's the secondary for Ramapo. Walkowitz at the left corner, Miller at free safety, Ryan Williams in his first start with the injury to Anzano. Pizzari moves from strong safety to right cornerback to cover Monin. So Ryan Williams, we'll see if they go after Williams, the strong safety, tonight.
We know the natural defense of Ramapo is a cover 2, so there are 4 men in the secondary, and that works out well because of the spread formation, as you see here, of Wayne Hills.
2nd and 2 at the 41. Ryan Williams for the first down out near the 45-yard line. Some Williams numbers. 149 carries, 1,191 yards, 8 yards a clip, 21 rushing touchdowns. He has 22 touchdowns overall, 4th in the state in scoring. Last year, 34 touchdowns, 1,894 yards. So far today, 3 carries for 17 yards. Williams has set a single season record for touchdowns and points at Wayne Hills. And for career touchdowns, he had 5 last week against Pascack Valley. 1st and 10. Williams taken down immediately. Good job, Jim Ishkanian. Ishkanian, a 5'10", 200-pound junior defensive tackle. Stumpy, tough, solid. He fills the gaps well, and he's a very low center of gravity coach, which helps him make this play.
And that's what he does on this. He just fills the vacant spot by the pulling guard and just steps up, finds the ball, and unloads.
So Ryan Koger also helping out, assisting as a 5'10", 205-pound sophomore, seeing some time on the defensive line early going. Pignatello and Monin wide to the bottom of your screen out of the eye on 2nd and 12.
There's Olsen deep.
Christian Olsen going deep. Completes the Recchione. Recchione in for the touchdown.
Younger Greg Olsen.
Greg Olsen, 57 yards. Got a flag on the play. That'll bring that one back. That was Greg Olsen on the receiving end, but the play will be brought back on a holding call.
Here's baby brother showing his skills, both sides of the ball. You know, before the game, there were a couple of things that I thought were key. Whether Walkowicz could step up for Ramapo and whether or not they could get Greg Olsen as a tight end into the mix.
Holding, White, 2nd down.
Now it's just a straight seam right up the field, 3-step drop and an unload. He's the baby of the family.
6'6", 230, 12 receptions coming in, 24.2. So a Recchione defending there, and it was Olsen on the receiving. Here we go with 2nd and 30. Ball back at the 25-yard line. Olsen, 3 steps, timing pattern again for Olsen, and he's got it on the far sideline. Another penalty flag.
Now that time they moved him to a wideout instead of taking him out of the tight end spot. They're still looking for an ISO. Somebody pushed.
Looks like pass interference, and Wayne Hills will decline this one.
When that wideout runs that fade right up the sideline, the cornerback cannot funnel him to the strong safety. Another flag coming back.
Pass interference, defense, declined. 1st down for White.
This is just a 5-step drop back to the wideout. He's just going to drop back with his tightly thrown ball. Pretty good defensive coverage there. But the size of this receiver is just too much for that cornerback on man coverage in the sideline pattern.
1st and 10 from the 43. Walkowicz sacks Olsen.
Corner stunt. That's how you mix up your quarterback. A little bit of a gamble, but he comes from the weak side, and nobody blocks the stunting cornerback.
Walkowicz, a 5'10", 185-pound junior. They may miss Chris Anzano as a great cover man, but you see the advantage of Walkowicz coming up on the stunt from the secondary. 2nd and 17. The ball moved back to the 49-yard line of Wayne Hills. Olsen, incomplete, intended for Olsen. Another flag thrown. Christian to Greg, and he is a tough young man to cover at 6'6", 230.
And what a great job he does of positioning his body on that post. A Wayne Hill corner doing...
Pass interference, defense, 1st down.
Wayne Hill cornerback doing everything he can to just stay with this big 6'6" frame of this junior.
3rd 1st down for Wayne Hills.
He was already impressive last year when we saw him in the league game as a sophomore. Now watch the way he gets the inside positioning here, and you got to climb up the ladder. You can see the tackle there. That actually might be a decent penalty of sorts. Either that or it's a 6-point touchdown.
1st and 10 at the 35-yard line of Ramapo. Olsen goes in motion. Christian airing it out deep for Monin, and incomplete. He juggled it, could not hold on. Pizzari defending. There we see that matchup. that Coach Drew Gibbs spoke about. Ryan Pizzari guarding Bill Monin, a classic matchup, and Monin almost came up with a catch.
Even in a cover two, you got to sometimes get help from your safety, but that time the alignment doesn't allow it, and he's man-on-man. Defense here is pretty good. Just some good athleticism, goes right through the hands.
Pizzari at 5'10", 185, covering Monin, who goes 6'3", 195. Monin, 29 receptions, 11 touchdowns on the year. 2nd and 10 from the 35. Brian Williams with a big hole up the left side. Brian Williams down the sideline. Touchdown. What we'll see for the signal. Yes, it is. 35 yards. Brian Williams with his 22nd rushing touchdown of the year.
Ramapo's only given up 4.7 points per game, and Wayne Hills has only given up 1.8 points per game. And you can see this is not exactly going to be a defensive struggle in the first few minutes. Such potent offenses.
Monahan to hold. Pignatello for the extra point kick. And a whistle and a flag.
We have a flag on the play.
Dead ball foul. Ball start. Offense.
So that'll move Pignatello back 5 yards for the extra point attempt. With 6:19 to go in your first quarter, as Wayne Hill's trying to tie this football game early on. Pignatello's kick is up, and it is right through the middle of the uprights, and we are tied at 7.
Watch number 4, Greg Olson in the H-back spot. He's going to slide down the line of scrimmage, and then he's going to lead the back through and just blow out the cornerback. There it is at the top of the screen, taking number 4 and just blowing him right off his track. That's Ryan Williams, who unfortunately got matched up on Greg Olson's huge block to lead his teammate through that C-gap lead.
9 plays.
That was the key to that game. Excuse me, Steve.
80 yards, 318. 7 runs, 2 passes, and we're tied at 7.
So this Greg Olson, the junior, the baby brother of Christian Olson, now showing what he can do on the field, used as a blocker, a wideout, a tight end, defensive player, and here you see throwing a huge block for the touchdown.
Well, they talked about Christian Olson going to Notre Dame, the senior quarterback. Well, his little brother, quote-unquote, Greg the Jr., also could be Notre Dame bound, perhaps. Here's Pignatello kicking off. Pizzari at the 15. Pizzari, who was a great return man, finally brought down flag thrown out at the 33-yard line.
Pizzari on the return. We have a flag on the play.
Pizzari, who returned 1 kick for a touchdown and had 1 called back against Northern Highlands last week.
Face mask. Defense. 5-yard penalty. First down.
Inadvertent face mask, so only the 5 yards. We'll move the ball out to the 38-yard line where Ramapo will take over. Had an impressive first drive in the game, resulting in a Josh Walkowitz 48-yard touchdown run. Here you see Brian Williams playing outside linebacker. 43 tackles and 2 sacks on the season. Tommy Gross having a great year at quarterback for Ramapo. Play action. Near side complete to Pizzari for a 9-yard gain.
Oh, the way he freezes that secondary and those linebackers by opening up away from the ball and with such quick speed, getting the correct shoulder downfield. Watch the way he opens up away and then just sprints to the outside. With such speed, he has just tremendous opportunity to unload the ball to the out and up.
2nd and 1. The Ramapo Raiders again on the move.
You know, both of these teams, potent offenses. Ramapo scoring 347 and Wayne Hill scoring 350. I mean, that's extraordinary.
There's Recchione, the fullback, the junior, 5'10", 195 pounds for a couple.
Stopped by Hannenberg, brought out.
Even if that play doesn't go for big yardage, they have to make sure that they keep those defensive tackles and defensive ends honest.
Third first down for Ramapo. Little short yardage pickup by Recchione, who came in with 147 yards on 20 carries, but they expect to use Recchione more today with the absence of Anzano, the veteran tailback who had 866 yards, but now out with a season-ending knee injury. So expect Recchione to see the ball perhaps a little more today. Here's Pizzari coming up from his flanker spot. Pizzari, though, dragged down from behind, and another penalty flag.
Greg Olson doing a nice job of chasing that down.
Great pursuit by Olson, who's pretty quick for 6'6", 230. There you see it. Clip.
Walking below the waist against Ramapo.
Now, Ramapo ran several reverses last week.
Clipping. Offense. First down.
That won a big 15-yard penalty to move the ball back to the 34-yard line.
Brian Williams smelled a rat on that one and came up very quickly from his outside linebacker spot, kind of over pursued, but there was the big Olson coming around, just keeping his shoulders parallel to the line of scrimmage and not being outflanked. He plays the strong side.
Ramapo 3 penalties for 35 yards, first and 25 from the 35. And up to Walkowitz. Bullied his way forward. A lot of hitting going on down there. Monahan coming up from his safety spot to finish. The initial hit by Hannenberg. Chris Hannenberg, the defensive end, 6'1", 232-pound senior.
He got dragged for a couple of few yards once he made his initial contact. You know, you got to drive those legs once you do make contact with the ball carrier.
Josh picked up 5 yards on that play. Walkowitz came in to 22 carries, 265 yards. He already has a 48-yard touchdown run. He's 2 for 20 so far here today. Second and 20. Quick pass on the flat to Pizzari. And Pizzari, with a nice 8-yard pickup, will set up the third down.
They take the wide out and try to drive off the cornerback, and that means that you got a linebacker one-on-one with that back out of the backfield. And with Ryan's superior 4.5 40 speed, that's the kind of thing you're looking for. Get those ISOs on linebackers who may just be slightly slower.
Third and 12 from the 48-yard line. We'll see what Tom Groves comes up with here. Groves with plenty of time underthrowing the intended receiver. Miller will set up a fourth down punting situation for the Raiders.
But that's the kind of thing we were hoping for as far as the offensive line of Ramapo. One of the keys to the game is controlling that line of scrimmage, and they certainly gave Tom an awful lot of time to throw the ball.
Blake Costanzo will be back in punt formation, and deep will be Monin and Pignatella.
Ramapo needs some good punt and good punt coverage here, not to give Wayne Hills good field position.
Low snap. High short kick. Takes a bounce for Wayne Hills and is down near the 30-yard line where the Patriots will take over. First and 10. Two 7-0 teams coming at you here on your Cablevision North Jersey Game of the Week and your MSG Tri-State Game of the Week. And the MSG Tri-State Top 10 is an interesting one. We'll take a look at it a little bit later on, but it's going to have some juggling going on once again. This was a big upset weekend already with Don Bosco Prep beating St. Joe's.
Run!
First and 10. Adamo is surrounded and brought down by a horde of Raider tacklers. Jim Iskanian again helping out along with David Silverstein, the defensive end.
It's a healthy sign for the Ramapo defense.
We see Chris Olson with his son Christian Olson, the senior quarterback. Wayne Hills has won 8 NBIL titles under Coach Olson in his 15th year with the Patriots. Former standout player at Morris Knowles and Midland College. Second and 12.
Trips to the far side.
Olson under pressure and finally runs out of bounds with nobody open. Chased the whole time by Andrew Recchione, who Coach Drew Gibbs raves about Recchione, the junior middle linebacker who took over for Steve Sclafani last year's starter. He loves his closing speed as a pursuing backer, and we saw it there pursuing the quarterback, Christian Olsen.
A lot of that is just plain mathematics, angle of pursuit. But, you know, one of the things I noticed that time is I thought Olsen didn't really have that real jolt that he would ordinarily have, the kind of thing we saw last year. Maybe that knee is affecting him the way we would anticipate a knee brace.
Of course, Dr. Russell Warren from the Football Giants devising that knee brace for the torn ACL on Christian Olsen's knee, suffered on the artificial turf at Indian Hills, which is nearby.
Sometimes stepping out of bounds is the better part of valor.
3rd and 12 from the 29. Olsen airing it out for his brother, and just out of the reach. Good coverage that time on the far side by Jeff Miller, the free safety.
When you're in a cover two the way Ramapo is, you've got 4 people in the secondary, 2 safeties on the hash mark. That corner is going to funnel towards the safety. In that case, it would be the strong safety. But when you're running 3 fades, 3 vertical plays, 3 deep passes, you can't funnel because the safety is already preoccupied with another pattern. So you get these one-on-ones like this, and what they're hoping for is the big 6'6" receiver can pull one down against the shorter secondary man.
3 and out for the Patriots. 4th down. Brendan Monahan to punt. Pizzari and Walkowitz are deep, and it's a nice punt. Chasing Pizzari back at his 32. And Pizzari brought down at the 38-yard line. So good field position once again for the Ramapo Raiders.
I'm sure his special team coach is going to encourage him to run a little bit more north and south as opposed to east to west, and stop trying to outflank the coverage of Wayne Hills. Get as much mileage as you can going upfield.
37-yard punt by Monahan, 4-yard return. 1st and 10 for the Raiders. 2:39 to go here in the opening quarter of play. We are tied at 7.
Man coverage at the bottom of the screen.
Pizzari in motion. Off the right side, it's Walkowitz for a quick burst.
5 on the play.
5-yard gain for the junior tailback, Chris Anzano, who suffered a torn MCL and ACL against Northern Highlands, now out for the year. 95 carries, 866 yards, 19 touchdowns. So you lose Anzano, but Walkowitz is a great backup. 5 carries, 63 yards already. 2nd and 5. From the 43-yard line. It's Walkowitz. Forward. Brought down by Hannenberg and Williams. That will set up a 3rd and short.
Brian Williams doing a nice job from his OLB that time. Watch the way he fights off the blocker and then gets his clean shoulder to the inside, working from the outside in. Nice job there, Brian. Locking those arms around those wheels. That's heads-up football for the outside linebacker from Wayne Hills.
3rd and 3. Ball at the 46-yard line of Ramapo. Rather quiet crowd here in Franklin Lakes. A big crowd, but they haven't gotten into it quite yet. You can expect that they will before too long. There's Walkowitz. Walkowitz, it's going to be close as he's dragged down by Bill Monin coming up from his cornerback slot. Bill Monin, 6'3", 195-pound senior, being recruited as a defensive back at Rutgers.
Great trap block by the left guard coming from his position to the right side of the field and cracking down on the defensive end.
And Drew Gibbs will send in his punt team on 4th and about a half a yard. Costanzo to punt. That's a fake. And a 1st down the sideline. Is Pizzari. Great job by the Raiders, and there we see a little gimmickry, and it comes through with flying colors.
Ramapo is does not have an aversion to trick plays, flea flickers, halfback option passes. You know, when I first saw the alignment and how tight the up back was, I said something's in my mind. I suggested perhaps something's cooking here, but when you make the guess, hey, watch for the fake, and then it doesn't happen, you sound a little foolish. This time they fooled everybody.
25 yards on the 4th down run by Pizzari.
Big conversion.
First and 10 at the 29. Gross goes to the air immediately for Jeff Miller. He's out there. It's juggled and incomplete. Pignatello defending. Good job by Pignatello. Miller, a very dangerous split end with 20 receptions, 6 touchdowns coming in.
Ball slightly underthrown. Pignatello did get turned around and had his back to the quarterback, and that's what you don't want to see happen. It's just a 5-step drop back. Miller goes flying down the sideline. Just comes up a little bit short, does Tom, on this pass. Watch Miller try to adjust with one hand, but of course with Pignatello's back to the quarterback, some tough defense to play when you can't see the ball.
Second and 10 from the 29. Grows under pressure. Grows near side and incomplete. Intended for Recchione. And a good rush that time by the Patriots.
Third and 10.
Chris Zambella doing a nice job of coming from his linebacker spot on a stunt, going right up the B gap, putting enormous heat on Tom, not allowing him to establish his feet and get that ball off.
And what does Drew Gibbs and company have up their sleeve on this play? A third and 10 from the 29-yard line.
Well, they have run reverses, they have run flea flickers, halfback option passes. They've got a full playbook.
Double wide to the near side. Throws under pressure. Zambelli misses the sack. Throws downfield. Incomplete. Broken up nicely by Williams defending on Pizzari. Fourth down.
Almost a little bit too much zip on that ball from Tom. Might want to put a little bit more touch on that. I mean, that thing had flames coming out of the tail end of the ball.
Just 13 seconds remaining in your opening quarter. We're tied at 7. And will they bring on Mr. Krautman, perhaps, for a field goal attempt?
He's got
yes, they will.
He had a 44-yarder so far this year. Is that his best one so far, Steve?
Yes,
so this is within his range.
Attempting one from 48 yards. 48-yard attempt for Krautman. With Groves to hold.
Based on the punt formation, we can't assume it's kicked until it's kicked. Who knows what trickery lies? Spoke to Rich's kicking coach before the game. What a terrific gentleman, dedicated to the game for years.
Snap is down. The kick is up. And the kick is no good. That turned out to be a 46-yard attempt where the ball was snapped.
He didn't miss by much, though.
Did not miss by much. Krautman with a good attempt, but the drive goes for naught for the Raiders, and Wayne Hills will take over with 9 seconds remaining here in the first quarter. We have a chance to look at that MSG Tri-State Top 10 real quick. St. Joe's, there you got it. Wayne Hills in the second slot, Poly Prep, Don Bosco, Jackson, Elizabeth, Bergen Catholic, Farmingdale, Greenwich, Connecticut, and Montclair.
Going strong!
First and 10 from the 20. Williams.
Look at the way he pushes the pile forward.
4 yards. Good job out in front. Blocking there was Brett Demers. And that's the end of the first quarter. 2 breakaway runs, 48 yards for Walkowitz of Ramapo, 35 yards for Williams of Wayne Hills. We're tied at 7 at the end of 1.
It's very remarkable. Just when you thought you've seen it all, you know, somebody jumps up and surprises you again, and, you know, hope.
The gazelle elephant, the platypussycat. The race to create such magnificent animal hybrids is extremely competitive. But ever since 2001, we've had a technological edge, a fiber optic communications network from LightPath. It allows us to share vast amounts of data with our research partners faster and more securely. And that's led to our greatest success, the golden retriever. Thank you, LightPath.
All right, we have to make this one. It's pretty. Oh, but look at that one. Oh, wow. That's beautiful. It's beautiful. Okay, so this the front of the mat.
Take a virtual tour of the reception hall. Plan every detail. Do things that dial-up simply can't do.
It's all on a computer, the flowers, the food.
With Optimum Online, the fastest internet access you can get.
Are they kissing? You're not kissing.
Because you're supposed to cry at weddings. Not while planning one. Optimum Online. For a free demo, stop by The Wiz.
A gorgeous full moon over Bergen County in northern New Jersey here in picturesque Franklin Lakes. High school football at its best here on Cablevision, 7-7. We head to the start of the second quarter. 2nd and 6. Brian Williams for a first down and more out to the 35-yard line. Let's look at the first quarter stats.
Wayne Hills 35-yard line were to be first down.
Penalties a little bit of an issue here. Both teams should be playing a little bit cleaner. No turnovers. Time of possession pretty much the same. Passing yardage is really where both of them get most of their total yardage from. A reasonably balanced attack on both parts. But I think you're going to see here is a lot of Brian Williams until they stop him.
Yes, that's certainly true. Wayne Hills wants to establish Williams to open up Olson, who was 1 for 3 for 32 yards in the first quarter. Adamo for perhaps a yard. So far in the trenches, Ramapo certainly holding its own. Adam Visconti in on the tackle, 6'3", 245-pound senior defensive tackle. Next game here on Cablevision is a great one from, also from Bergen County, Bergen Catholic and St. Joe's. That'll be Thanksgiving weekend. You'll see highlights throughout the next couple of weeks from the state playoffs on Sports Scene. Chris Olson, complete to Monin, out at the 46-yard line for another first down. Bill Monin's got such great hands.
No, he had a 154-yard game against Indian Hills and 68 yards against Ramsey. Watch this tightly thrown ball. Watch the way he goes up, catches the back of the ball, then pulls it down and manages to stay in bounds. That's just some great athleticism.
5th first down for Wayne Hills. Do we see that matchup of Pizzari and Monin again? Here's Brian Williams. Good job by the Ramapo front 4 coming across. David Silberstein, along with Blake Costanzo, coming up from his outside linebacker spot to stop Brian Williams.
David Silberstein was the object of that trap, and he just did not let it happen. He crushed the trapper coming into him, shed him off, and closed down that running lane.
A loss of a yard on the play. 2nd and 11, ball at the 45-yard line. We are tied at 7.
Here we get the big Greg Olson as a wideout.
We'll see if Christian looks for the little brother here. Down the middle, intercepted by Jeff Miller. What a nice coverage job by the free safety, Jeff Miller, who makes his 2nd interception of the year.
Well, they just went to the well too many times. Previous to that play, Greg was able to get the inside position with that huge 6'6" frame. But this time, the defender would have no part of it. Jeff Miller just stepping in between the ball and the receiver, right in the numbers, doing a nice job. And there's Greg Olson playing some defense as soon as the ball is intercepted. That was the big question, I thought, coming in. Can the secondary step up? And so far, so good.
1st and 10 from the 24. Miller doing a terrific job in that secondary. There's Walkowitz shedding off a block nicely there for Wayne Hills with Jeff Wells, the outside linebacker, to make the tackle.
Nicely done, keeping his outside shoulder clean, not letting the blocker get into him, and then stepping up.
4 yards on the play. Ramapo has won 4 playoff titles, including last year. That all under the legendary Mike Miello in 22 years. 143 wins, 64 losses, 1 tie for Mike Miello, now working with Greg Schiano, a Ramapo graduate, down on the Rutgers college staff. Walkowitz leaping over defenders and gets out in the open. Josh Walkowitz is off to the races. Josh Walkowitz, 71 yards for the touchdown. Well, the Walkowitz coming out party has been impressive tonight. 48 yards for his first touchdown, and here he goes 71 yards to put Ramapo back in front.
You know, even when he first stepped up in the Northern Highland games to replace Anzano when he hurt his knee, he scored 2 touchdowns then. He's had his reps.
Throws to hold, Crockett to attempt the extra point.
Josh Walkowitz playing in the shadows of the starter Chris Anzano for the first 6+ games until Anzano went down with his season-ending knee injury against Northern Highlands. And he has risen to the occasion. Here's Krautman with his extra point. And it's good. 14-7 Ramapo.
Well, right now they're saying Chris who, because this kid Josh Walkowitz is doing a heck of a job. Just a quick trap play off the right side. There you see 71 pulling. Then the ball just follows him through. And the speed, we talked about Ramapo's team speed. There's an illustration of it. Look at the way he separates from the defense. No white jerseys in the screen at all, right to the very end.
Walkowitz, 9 carries, 143 yards, 2 touchdowns so far. That's 15.9 yards per carry. 2 plays, 76 yards, just took 52 seconds. And the Ramapo Raiders, that's the same score as last year's state playoff final. Of course, we're only in the second quarter with 9:20 to go, so we could have ourselves a high-scoring game here today.
You know, these Ramapo players, like in Wayne Hills, they just don't know the meaning of lose. Ramapo is 47-9 over the last 52 games, so these seniors, winning is just a habit. It's natural. Wayne Hills, these seniors have been to the big game for 4 years in a row, and that adds up when it comes to big games like this. That experience, that poise, that sense of confidence demonstrated here tonight.
Ramapo with 211 offensive yards. They've had the ball for 14.5 minutes. Bill Monin is deep along with Rick Pignatello. Here's Krautman kicking off. Remember, he is a great kickoff artist, and again he sends Pignatello into the end zone for a touchback. So the kicking game, keeping Wayne Hills further back. They'll start at their 20. Wayne Hills now with their 4th start. They've gone from their 20, their 30, and now twice more from their 20. Every Tuesday night, you can watch the premier weekly edition of Sports Scene for your highlights of your favorite teams from Bergen, Passaic, and Morris counties. Again on Wednesdays at 8:30, Thursdays at noon, and Friday at 9 on your Cablevision channel. 1st and 10 from the 20 for the Patriots. Quick pass to Greg Olson. Greg picks up 8 yards, so we see Olson to Olson. And he is some weapon.
Jeff Miller's earning his money tonight, boy. Even after he makes contact, that's got to be, it's like trying to bring down a building. It's just a little comeback pass just to get the big strapping 6'6" receiver in the open field one-on-one. Hoping for a missed tackle. Look at the way how correctly he keeps the ball on the left side, little straight arm, but Miller comes up with a decent tackle.
Williams is stopped for a loss on the 2nd down run. Recchione again coming up from his middle linebacker slot.
You know, Wayne Hills has only given up 13 points all year long in all of their games combined, and here they are at 14 in the first half. Not something they're used to.
Kevin Donlin also making a hit on that play. The junior left side linebacker, his first year as a starter, has been very solid. Good linebacking corps with Recchione in the middle, surrounded by Donlin and Costanza. 3rd and 3. There's a stunt. Incomplete intended for Olson. Not much time for Christian there with Recchione stunting from his middle linebacker slot.
They had everybody coming that time. They sent the farm. They knew it was a throwing pattern, or a throwing play rather.
So a 3 and out. And Monahan will come on to punt the football once again. And Ramapo should get excellent field position out of this. Again, playing territorial right now, Coach, and we'll see how they end up here. But the kicking game with Krautman creates these situations. Good snap.
Not a great kick.
Pizzari lets it take a bounce, and it will give Ramapo superb field position. 21-yard punt. They'll have the ball at the 43 of Wayne Hill. So right there, they cut the field in half.
It almost looked like the wind held that up. That, you know, once you got to a certain elevation, that there's a little bit more of a stiffer breeze. The flags are blowing not too sharply, but it's kind of stopped in midair.
Well, if you've ever been up in this part of Bergen County, it is gorgeous, and you're right up in the hills here, and it does get a little cooler.
And it is November.
There is a nice breeze. We've been very fortunate with our November weather so far.
Well, we talked in the pregame about how Ramapo needs to play in a 50 or 40-yard field and not have to climb 80 yards each time. This is evidence of it.
There's Walkowitz. Not much there. Good job across from his defensive tackle slot.
Mike
Otterbein, who has done a nice job. The 6'2", 272-pound junior came in with 31 tackles and 1 sack, taking over for the graduated David Ura. Wayne Hilson had 4-4 alignment. Ogden and Otterbein, 2 junior first-year starters as the tackles. Second down Groves. Comes back to Pizzari, who has some running room. Pizzari for the first down, brought down at the 31-yard line. You saw that burst of speed by number 6, Pizzari.
That play is designed to let the defensive end come upfield, opening up a running lane, and then you have a crossing pattern. Watch number 6 come down the line of scrimmage, right through the running lane on a nicely thrown ball, and then he's got blockers.
Watch him take off, Coach.
Just great burst of speed. And of course, you see some nice linemen downfield. Justin King, for example, after the ball is thrown, getting downfield, trying to help out his receiver.
12 yards on the game. That's the 6th first down for Ramapo. First and 10 at the 31-yard line. Walkowitz trying to get outside. He managed to do so momentarily. Good hit on the far side by Monin.
Jeff Miller does a great job, the wideout on that play, just crushing down on the outside pursuit, letting nothing happen. See if you can't find number 80 at the top of your screen there, left-hand side. There he is coming into your screen. And then a great crushing tackle at the end of the play. Boom.
It's Bill Monin, who Rutgers is recruiting as a defensive back, among other schools who like him as a receiver, and also as a defensive back. Walkowitz, 11 carries, 148 yards, and 2 touchdowns. Second down. Walkowitz with a flag thrown. Would have a first down, but let's see what this flag is for.
We have a flag on the play.
It's against the Raiders.
That time they were trying to trap Greg Olson from his defensive end spot. They got into his body pretty well, but it's going to be called back.
Blocking below the waist.
Illegal block. Offense.
High school football, there is a invisible box, 4 yards to the right, 4 yards to the left of the ball, 1 yard north and south. You cannot enter the box and block below the waist. You cannot block anybody outside of that box below the waist.
4th penalty for 50 yards for Ramapo. 2nd and 15 from the 36-yard line. Rose swinging it out to Pizzari. Pizzari. Ball scoots out of bounds as he gets inside the 30 for a gain of 7.
Here again's another example of trying to get superior team speed of Ryan Pizzari. See if you can't watch Brian Williams kind of fall in behind him. He's on the responsibility for that out pattern. Watch 36 coming to your screen. He's got some decent speed, but just holds on for dear life. Trying to get those ISOs, your best athlete on my best athlete. Let's see which one of us wins.
And some future Ramapo high school players from the Ramapo Raiders group, perhaps. One of the great midget football programs, the Ramapo Raiders, for the kids from Wyckoff and Franklin Lakes. 3rd down and 9. Gross, great composure here. Airing it out for Pizzari, and just out of his reach. Pignatello defending on the play. It'll set up a 4th down.
Pizzari is incomplete. Brings up a 4th and 8 from the way.
Tom Gross showing some great poise, some great team speed.
Here comes Krautman again, Coach, to attempt the field goal. He missed before from 46 yards, and he will try again from around that same distance.
Can't get a bead on the flags at all. If there's any flag at all, it seems to be blowing with him just ever so slightly. Drew Gibbs commenting that he thought Tom Gross had a great head for football and was running 3-day summer practices during the beginning of the season to get ready for this season.
A 47-yard attempt for the ball is placed down, and that kick is well short. Troutman had a 44-yarder against Old Japan back on October 13th. He's missed twice here today, once from 46 and now from 47.
That looked like an errant snap and a weak hold on that. I'm not quite sure the timing was ever there. He ever had a shot from the get-go.
This notebook is bound to raise a few eyebrows. It's got a laser-sharp screen, hot swappable drives you can switch on the fly, a lightning-fast Intel Pentium 3 processor, and the power to turn heads. Envious? Why? For just $13.79, we can build one for you. The compact Presario 1700T. Call 1-888-271-1826 to buy now and double your memory for free. Plus, get a free upgrade to a 2-year limited warranty.
Hope you enjoyed the first half of our Tri-State Area High School Football Game of the Week between our number 2 Wayne Hills team and rivals Ramapo High School. For the second half, back out to Ramapo High School in Franklin Lakes, New Jersey.
And we're back at Ramapo High School in Franklin Lakes. Steve Tuber, David Weinberg getting set to start second half action with Ramapo leading 14-7. 2 Josh Walkowitz TD runs of 48 and 71 yards, and Brian Williams with a 35-yard TD run in the first quarter for Wayne Hills. These two 7-0 teams coming in. They've split the last 6 meetings, although Wayne Hills has won 3 of the last 4, but lost the important game in last year's Section 1 Group 3 final. With some of the youngsters enjoying the festivities up here in Franklin Lakes. Last year, Ramapo winning 14-7 in the Section 1 Group 3 final. And the final game for Mike Mielo, who's moved on to Rutgers University. Take a look at some of the first half stats once again. And Josh Walkowitz, who had outgained the entire Wayne Hills team with 148 yards rushing to 134 total yards for Wayne Hills. So Walkowitz certainly impressing, taking over for Chris Anzano, out with a knee injury last week against Northern Highlands, suffering a torn MCL and ACL. Did Chris Anzano, who had rushed 95 times for 866 yards and 19 touchdowns. Walkowitz with an auspicious start here today. These teams in Section 1 Group 3, if we have a chance to look at the PowerPoint update, and North Jersey Section 1 Group 3. Now, these are the numbers provided by Joe Zadalis of the Asbury Park Press. So these are not taken as the seedings which you will have in your Sunday papers and finalized in your Monday newspapers. But Ramapo with 58 PowerPoints, High Point also with 58. Wayne Hills there with 57. Now, talking to Chris Olson, whose assistant coaches have been working out the mathematics, if Wayne Hills wins, they will get the top seed, followed by Cliffside Park, Ramapo, Northern Highlands, and High Point. If Ramapo would win here tonight, they would get the top seed, followed by Cliffside Park, Northern Highlands. Wayne Hills in the 4th spot, and High Point 5th. So these two teams could conceivably meet perhaps in a semifinal if this score holds up and Drew Gibbs and Ramapo come out on top. They lead 14-7. Now remember, Wayne Hills won the toss to open the game, and they deferred, so they will receive here in the second half. Want to welcome our Cablevision North Jersey audience, along with the MSG Tri-State audience out there who watch from Connecticut, New York, and New Jersey. And what is one of the great rivalries in all of northern New Jersey, Ramapo and Wayne Hills. Rick Krautman, there you see him there, number 10, who missed 2 first-half field goals of 46 and 47 yards. He had hit a 44-yarder against Old Japan back on October 13th, so he does have range. But most importantly, he has already put 2 kicks into the end zone in the first half. And let's see what he can do here to start the second half. Again in the end zone, and it'll be another touchback. And it'll come out to the 20-yard line, where Wayne Hills has had now 6 of their 7 possessions start from the 20-yard line, their own 20-yard line. You can get all the highlights of all sports activities, whether it's soccer, field hockey, or your pigskin variety on Sports Scene. Tuesdays at 7, Wednesdays at 8:30, Thursdays at noon, and Fridays at 9 We have some great highlights this week. St. Joe's Don Bosco Prep, Morristown West Morris. Among them, the pitch to Williams on 1st and 10 from the 20. Sweeping the right side, and a nice gain across the 25-yard line.
Now, Wayne Hills, I think, has to get back to their original plan, which is to balance that attack and mix the play selection. They got a little bit away from that in the second quarter in particular. Throw to set up the pass, or rather pass to set up the run, run to set up the pass, and mix up their play selection, keeping the Ramapo defense off balance.
You saw Drew Gibbs there a moment ago. He played under both Freddie Hill and Rick Giancola at Montclair State. 80 graduate of Midland Park. 2nd and 5 from the 25. 3 steps, quick opener, incomplete, intended for Greg Olson. And Christian Olson has had some problems in terms of the passing department. 5 of 14 for 62 yards, but he has been cold of late. 1 interception on the day, so we'll see if Christian Olson can turn things around here in the second half.
Well, in his defense, that one was catchable, a little bit above that shoulder pads, but certainly something that could have been caught.
3rd and 5, complete. Incomplete to Greg, in and out of his hands, so 3 and out.
That Ramapo defense stepping up again. There's just the out pattern on the big man, the 6'6" wideout. Doesn't quite hang on to the ball. A great smack by the cornerback coming up. Jeff Miller.
Pignatello to punt. Pizzari is deep, along with Rader.
Correct myself, Miller playing the free safety.
Flag on the play, and they'll do that one over, unless it's against the Raiders. Let's wait and see.
Against the Raiders, that could be a first down.
Dead ball foul, encroachment, defense.
That's a big mental error. Encroachment, of course, is when the defensive lineman lines up in the neutral zone. There's that invisible plane from the ball to the sky, and you cannot cross it regardless of whether you make contact with the offensive lineman. That was big mental error there.
9th first down for Wayne Hills. 1st and 10 from the 30. Williams dragged down. Good job, Jeff Miller coming up from his safety slot, and we've seen Miller helping out a lot from the secondary. He is a great player, 3-year starter, was a cornerback last year. Jeff Miller, who has an interception tonight, 6'1", 200-pound senior. Williams, 16 carries for 77 yards with a loss of 2 on that play.
Here we go now. Let's go, Steve. Come on, Dave.
2nd and 12.
Hey, watch wheel routes up. Come on, D-line. Here.
Olson, near side, complete. They say incomplete. Olson was out of bounds. Greg was on the far sideline. So nothing going right in the passing attack for Wayne Hills.
Christian under a lot of heat that time. Ramapo mixing up the stunts, the blitzes coming from the backside. Here you see coming up the backside of the play, all types of green shirts coming in, making him run for his life in order to get that ball off, not thrown in the most classic manner, but younger brother cannot keep his feet in bounds.
Well, certainly from their scouting reports, they've decided to stunt the linebackers frequently. Costanzo and Donlin were both on top of Christian Olson on that play. 3rd and 12. Olson brought down for the sack. There's Donlin again, along with the defensive tackle Visconti and Iskanian.
So Wayne Hills cannot take advantage of that faux pas on the part of the Ramapo encroachment. All types of heat coming from all over. Look at that low crouch, 4-point stance, great push of the Ramapo line. And they just collapse the pocket. He tries to get away and stumbles.
That's Iskanian with the initial hit. And so Monahan will punt. Short, wobbly kick. Well, they'll roll dead right near midfield where Ramapo will take over. A 22-yard punt by Brendan Monahan.
Ryan Passari ought to know better than to chase a ball that he's not going to pick up. Get away from it. That football takes an awkward bounce, hits your ankle or something. That's a live ball. Wayne Hills can pick it up. If you're not going to pick that thing up, get away from it.
Yeah, but I understand that. That's a good job. But we got to make sure of what, though, okay? All right, good job.
And you hear the assistant coach talking to David Silberstein, the sophomore defensive tackle. Ramapo has just lost 6 games in the last 6 years. Quite an impressive number. First and 10 from midfield. Gross with time. Throwing deeper. Passari, who's open. He's got it. Passari brought down near the 5-yard line. 42-yard completion.
Well, what that did was confuse the secondary insofar as Wayne Hills in their cover 2, or I'm sorry, their cover 1 defense. That means they have 2 corners and a safety. And what you can see is a little bit of a flood pattern to the far side, a fade and then an out and up. And then the cornerback has to decide, being caught monkey in the middle, and that's where he loses his step. And why we see Ryan Pizarro so wide open.
There's Walkowitz, first and goal from the 7, sweeping the right side, and it'll be second and goal. The ball out of bounds near the 4-yard line. Pizzari, 5 receptions for 78 yards.
So when we talk about Ramapo being in a cover 2 with 4 defensive men in the secondary, that means there's 1 less guy in the box. So you can run a little bit more. Whereas Wayne Hills plays a cover 1, they can put more guys up in the box, but then of course it causes a problem in secondary coverage.
Second and goal at the 4-yard line. Ramapo with a 14-7 lead, looking for more. Walkowitz, it'll be third and goal as he gets down close to the 2. Jeff Wells coming up. Chris Hannenberg with the initial hit from his defensive end slot.
Watch 71, Adam Visconti coming from his guard spot, getting a kind of a trap on the defensive tackle.
Hannenberg got the initial hit there, doing a real nice job. Chris Hannenberg, 6'1", 232-pound senior.
Adam recovering from a broken hand. Doesn't seem to impede his skill right there.
Third and goal from the 2. Gross rolling out, and he is sacked.
You know what that is?
Thrown. That's Brian Williams.
That's Adam Visconti. He was pulling out on waggle action. The defensive lineman broke through, and he took his hands and pushed his back to the ground. Illegal block.
Well, Ramapo given a dose of its own medicine by those stunning linebackers. Brian Williams sacking Gross on the play action attempt.
The linebacker sees the guard pull out on the waggle action, steps up to fill the hole, and that time Adam got
Holding.
caught.
Offense declined. 4th down.
Declined, so it'll set up a 4th down. Now Krautman will come on for another field goal attempt.
Watch poor 71. He's going to be right out there. Watch his hands go. You can't do that. That's a no-no.
Good camera work holding Adamo. Was Visconti. Well, here's Krautman again. Will attempt a 28-yard field goal. He's missed from 46 and 47 yards. Gross to hold. This is a huge, huge field goal attempt. Placement down. The kick is up. And the kick is good. Ricky Krautman increases the Ramapo lead to 17-7.
Not the best of snaps either. The holder had to make some adjustment, twist his body and contort it in order to get it into the right spot. So all's well that ends well, but a little adversity there, a little, oh my, we almost didn't get it off.
Rick Krautman, who works with Pat St. Pierre. Pat St. Pierre, who's on the Bergen Catholic staff, an old North Bergen guy with Vinny Ascalise. And Pat, it goes around northern New Jersey. He's worked with kickers all over the Garden State, from Anthony Pino at New Providence and Holy Cross to Doug Kirchner at Bergen Catholic and the University of Richmond, to works with Chris Hanley up at Bergen Catholic now, and here with Rick Krautman. He's a roving coach, so he's unofficially attached to Bergen, but he really works with so many schools. He's helped out at Montclair over the years.
All for the love of the game, too,
exactly.
Steve. All for the love of the game. I spent a few minutes with him before the game started, and he's just such a joy to speak with. You can learn so much from him.
He's a great guy. Was good friends with Jack Davies, the former Montclair coach. They're best of friends when Jack was at Butler and Montclair. And just a real gent. One of those unsung kind of guys behind the scenes in high school football in New Jersey. Patty Sampiero works with Rick Krautman, among others. Here's Krautman kicking off with the lead. Let's see if he can put another one back in the end zone, and he does. His fourth that's gone back for a touchback, and the fifth straight start for Wayne Hills from their own 20-yard line. That is field position.
And that,
efficiency.
you know, that's such a key element to the game that so many teams don't have in their arsenal. If you don't allow a kickoff return, boy, can you keep those numbers, you know, in the red, make them run 80 yards each way instead of having them return the ball out to the 30 or the 35. That's just great kickoff teams.
First and 10 for the Patriots from their own 20-yard line. 8:17 to go here in the third quarter. Adamo for 3 yards. Coming up, our next game of the week, coming up in a couple of weeks. What a classic rivalry this is. Bergen Catholic St. Joe's, Saturday the 24th at 7 o'clock on your respective Cablevision channel, and again on the MSG Tri-State Game of the Week on the 25th. The Crusaders bouncing back emphatically against Teaneck today, 35-6, if you're watching on Saturday night. Play action, Olsen dumps it and completes it to Greg Olsen, and Greg fumbles it, and a penalty on the play.
He did fumble. It was stripped.
We'll see what happens. We'll see. A preliminary indication could be roughing the passer, but we will wait.
Just opens up off the play action. Baby brother is running the sideline.
Roughing the quarterback. Defense. First down.
And that will be a first down for the Patriots on that. Tacking it on to that completion from Olsen to Olsen. So here come the Patriots.
So we can assume that that fumble was out of bounds. That's why Wayne Hills retains possession of the ball.
The ball at the 36-yard line of Ramapo.
Those little things like that, Steve, where that arm comes up or comes under in order to strip the ball carrier, those are the little things that coaches love to teach, and they hope pay off.
They certainly do, and that time the completion of the tackle under the penalty. Brian Williams off the right side, tripped up by Ryan Williams, the strong safety, but not after picking up some yardage on the play.
We really haven't seen Bill Monin getting caught into the flow of the passing game. We've seen baby brother Greg being the primary receiver, the go-to guy so far. So hold on to your hats, because Bill's going to be involved somehow sooner or later.
We'll give credit to Ryan Pizzari, the cornerback in charge of covering Monin, who's done a nice job so far. 2nd and 7. Williams has had one run for the 35-yard touchdown. Other than that, 16 carries and minus.
Come on, Josh!
Here's Monin around the left side on an unusual play for the Patriots to have Monin coming around and getting the football on the ground.
That's what we call a false trap. You don't ordinarily see that on a high school team. You saw the two guards get up, watch the two guards go up and pull the other way, and here comes the receiver from the far side trying to get those linebackers to go the wrong way with the flow. Most high school teams can't handle false traps like that, but when you get to the caliber or ball of Wayne Hills and Ramapo, they can pull it off.
Williams has that touchdown run, 16 carries for 50 yards in his other carries. First and 10 from the 25. Williams forward, ball loose. And the Patriots have it back. It'll be 2nd down after that short gain. Greg Olsen recovering the fumble.
2nd and 8.
Mike Sisler doing a nice job of penetrating, getting in there and banging things up, disrupting the flow of that play.
2nd and 9. From the 24-yard line.
There's Bill split to the top of your screen.
Olsen completing to Adamo. Adamo down to the 5, down by the pylon. Touchdown, Wayne Hills. David Damo, 24 yards. And the Patriots are right back in it. David Damo, his 6th reception of the year, but his first touchdown. Here's Pignatello on for the extra point. Placement down, the kick is up, and it's good. So the Wayne Hills Patriots, just like that, now trail 17-14.
All right, you got two wideouts at the top of the screen. They drive off the corner and the free safety. Play action to the fullback, who's supposed to be picked up by a linebacker. There's the play action. And he just drags underneath, left wide open because of those two wideouts, pushing the secondary further upfield. And then he's off to the races, lowering his shoulder. Look at that great block by Greg Olson and Bill Mon and the wideout down the field. Just great execution on that play.
Just got over the goal line at that pylon. 6 plays, 80 yards, 237. Helped on by the Christian Olson and Greg Olson completion and the tacked on 15-yard penalty on the roughing the passer.
And now you're starting to hear the crowd get into it a little bit.
Wayne Hill's getting fired up. And the Ramapo fans trying to answer. Pignatello will kick off.
Wayne Hills needs a good deep kick here and some good coverage.
Pizzari is deep along with Walkowitz. And it's Pizzari at his 17. Pizzari cutting back against the field. Ryan Pizzari finds some running room. Ryan Pizzari down to the 40, the 35, and out of bounds.
That's the best way to answer a touchdown.
A 48-yard return, and Ramapo answers back with a superb kick return by Ryan Pizzari.
He's trying to make up for a lot of that 2000 season that he was sitting on the bench for. He kind of reverses his field. He runs into traffic and bounces to the outside. Can't really teach that kind of instinctual running, keeping the ball away from the tacklers. Wayne Hills takes some great angle of pursuit, and luckily they close him down before he crosses the end zone.
1st and 10 at the 34-yard line. Gross to throw deep. He's got it. Touchdown, Jeff Miller. 33 yards. And the Raiders strike with lightning.
Take that, Ramapo says.
Remember, Wayne Hills scored at 5:34 left in the third. 20 seconds later, the Pizzari return and the one-play drive, 33 yards to Miller. And the Raiders strike once again. Troutman on for the extra point. Gross to hold. Placement down. And the kick is good.
Jeff Miller here is at a wide out to the top of the screen. It's a 3-step drop and a launch. Defense isn't terrible. He's in decent position. Just some great concentration on the part of Jeff Miller, because we cannot say that that's bad defense. He was right with him all along.
One play, 33 yards, 20 seconds. And that includes, of course, the kick return by Pizzari, which set up the score, 24-14.
See, with Wayne Hills in that cover one, you get that one-on-one coverage all the time, where you got cornerbacks on wideouts and safeties on tight ends, unlike the cover two, where you can funnel and get a little help from either the free or the strong safety.
Coach Weinberg, you feel like this game has a lot more scoring remaining in it here with 5:14 to go here in the third quarter. Tom Gross, who completed that TD pass of 33 yards to Jeff Miller, now 7 of 12 for 136 yards and a touchdown.
Well, I'm certainly not surprised at the Ramapo quarterback success, something I anticipated. Expect a little bit more out of Chris Alston, and I think we're going to see a lot more out of him yet. Here we go.
Troutman with another touchback on the kickoff. 6 straight starts for Wayne Hills from their own 20-yard line. The kicking game coming to fruition with Ricky Krautman just doing it every single time with the touchback.
It just makes the offense crawl 80 yards each time if they have any hope of scoring. That's an awful long field.
Glad you could be with us here at Ramapo High School in Franklin Lakes. Steve Tover, David Weinberg, statistician Bill Bromberg. Your Cablevision North Jersey Game of the Week, Saturday Night Football, and your Tri-State Game of the Week on MSG. Here's Olsen throwing back to Williams and brought down immediately. Blake Costanzo, the stomping linebacker, and we've talked, Coach, all night long about the linebackers and their stunts, and Costanzo, Recchione, and Donlin have caused all kinds of havoc in the backfield.
Now, here's a stunt from the backside, but these linebackers are doing a great job. What they try to do is take the great athlete Williams and get him ISO'd on a linebacker in the hopes that he's just going to outrun him, but not to be done that time. Blake Costanza staying home, staying with his man, reading his defense the way he should, and just coming up and wrapping and dropping the great Williams dead in his tracks.
Loss of 8 yards on the play, 2nd and 18 from the 12. Chris Olsen over the middle to Adamo, who's tagged immediately by Ryan Williams. Ryan Williams in his debut as the starting strong safety, filling in for Chris Anzano, has had a nice game in the secondary.
I always like the idea of using a fullback in the pass package. I think frequently they're forgotten. There's Adamo just slipping through off of the perfunctory play action. Frequently they're just let through the line of scrimmage. He should be popped as he comes through, and then the MLB is supposed to pick him up.
3rd and 9 on that 9-yard pickup. Remember, they had lost 8 yards on the sack previously. Over the middle. Great job on defense by Miller. Jeff Miller, the free safety, defending on Greg Olsen. A flag on the play.
It's going to go against Ramapo, and I'm not quite sure why.
They might have caught Miller perhaps holding on Olsen.
He may have come over the top and had a hand on his back. Technically, he's not even allowed to touch
Pass interference, defense, first down.
I just thought that was just great defense.
Ramapo with their 7th penalty for 90 yards.
Let's see if you can pick it up on the interference. Ball is nicely thrown. Olsen has good position. There it is. Watch the left hand.
Got an arm around him on that with that left hand.
Good call, officials.
Good job by the crew. 1st and 10 from the 37. Olsen coming back to Adamo. Donlin's got a hold of him, but tough yardage. Adamo is one tough customer. He makes positive yardage out of the play. About 4 yards. Adamo, a 5'10", 175-pound junior, taking over for Yanal Altadoka, who was a captain and starting fullback last year. And Adamo has stepped in nicely at that position.
But it does add such an enormous depth to your play selection when your fullback has hands. You know, not only do they use the block, not only do they use the inside the tackles for the running game, but you can throw a pass to him once in a while like they've been doing. That really adds dimension.
Well, we saw him on the touchdown reception earlier, 24 yards, 2nd and 6 from the 40. Christian Olsen completing to Greg Olsen into Ramapo territory for the first down, and Wayne Hills' offense is on track now.
And that's the kind of thing, as I suggested in their first series coming out of the second half, that they had to go back to their original game plan of a balanced attack, mixing their play selection. Here's Olsen in the open field. You know, he gets the ball. It's like throwing to a runaway freight train. Just imagine trying to tackle this 6'6" kid. He wraps it away nicely, turns up nicely, and, you know, there's Jeff Miller trying to bang him down.
13th first down for Wayne Hills. 1st and 10 from the 46. Throwing deep for Pignatello, and just beyond his reach. Good coverage by Walkowitz.
Well, Walkowitz is stepping up tonight, filling those big shoes of Anzano, both sides of the ball.
There's Chris, the coach, talking to Christian, the senior quarterback's son, headed to Notre Dame in 2002. Of course, Matt Lavecchio from Bergen Catholic is Franklin Lakes native, who's started last year, now playing as a 2nd-string quarterback in South Bend. This drive, 5 plays, all passes. Olsen over the middle, overthrowing Monin. Olsen now 11 of 24 for 129 yards. He has the touchdown to Adamo, and he's thrown an interception picked off early in the first half by Jeff Miller. Christian Olsen, he will keep it coming at you.
Brian Williams does a nice job of picking up the backside stunt that time and saved Christian Olsen from getting hammered. Nice job does the running back on pass protection.
You see just under 3 minutes to go here in the third quarter. The scoring is picked up. Ramapo with a field goal by Krautman and a touchdown pass to Miller, and Olsen to Adamo for Wayne Hills, a player down on the field. Blake Costanzo is shaken up right now for the Raiders. If we look at the Cablevision top 10, which will have some shakeups this week as Blake comes off the field, he'll be back in action. It's a little shaken up. Good to see him walking off.
He's got something in his eye. He's got to come off for one play because of the timeout for the injury.
And, Coach, this will have some shakeups on our Tuesday program on Sports Scene because Don Bosco Prep knocking off St. Joe's 28-7 Friday night. And Teaneck will fall out, as will Hackensack. Now, that was one of the biggest upsets of the weekend, was Patterson Eastside beating Hackensack 37-16. That was a result which I saw in the papers Saturday morning. I could not believe it. Hackensack 12-0 last year, the #1 team in everybody's poll, losing at Patterson Eastside on a Friday night. That was an unusual result. Third down, swing pass, Adamo. Again, the fullback tripped up nicely. Good job. Again, Ryan Williams coming up from his strong safety slot to make the hit.
And that time, Justin King, responsible for getting out there and trying to cover the fullback coming in that swing pass. Again, they're using the fullback so wisely. Here's Adamo going to the top of your screen. Just that little belly series.
So
dumps it over 77, the defensive end, and then he runs so well.
And Williams is having a nice debut as a starter. 7 plays on that drive, all passes. Monahan to punt. Puts his left foot into it. Then a short kick goes out of bounds around the 24-yard line, and Ramapo with a 10-point lead with 2:13 to go in the third will take over with the football once again. And you got to be impressed with these Ramapo Raiders playing without their star backfield ace, Chris Anzano, who in 6 games, 95 carries, 866 yards, and 19 touchdowns, went out in the first quarter against Northern Highlands carrying his MCL, his ACL, ready for surgery, coming in without their star back, and Ramapo has not lost a beat.
Depth charts. Great teams have depth.
Pizzari from his flanker slot. Pizzari with that great burst of speed, with that 4.5 speed out near the 30-yard line. Finally taken out of bounds by Monin and Monahan.
Greg Olsen doing a nice job of trying to string it out, but the speed is just too much for him. Watch number 4. Not letting his left shoulder be outflanked by Green. But there the Green takes off just a little bit more quickly than he would have liked, hoping for some help from the cornerback, who comes up a little bit slowly, does Bill Monin.
2nd and 5. You know, you want to keep that clock going if you're Ramapo at any possibility, as the clock is restarted here with a minute and a half to go here in the third. 2nd and 5. From the 29-yard line.
Good passing play here.
Walkowitz coming back to short side. Walkowitz falls loose, but out of bounds. Takes positive yardage for Ramapo.
Ramapo trying to spread the field that time, making a linebacker walk off. They put 2 wideouts to the top of the field at the wide side in order to create a short corner down towards us on the near side, and it worked. Get that superior team speed, getting that quick corner.
9th first down for the Ramapo Raiders. Minute 20 to go here in the third. 1st and 10 from the 37-yard line. Recchione in motion. Play action, Gross. 20 at time. Throwing deep for Pizzari. Just beyond his reach. Oh, what a well-thrown ball that was by Gross. Ramapo fans wanted a pass interference call, which was not in the offense, but what a ball that Gross threw out there.
That was just a perfectly thrown ball. I think part of the problem was Bill Monin just fell down, and it was inadvertent contact, and that's what I think Pizzari was complaining about, that he didn't get the call. Watch how Bill number 16 just kind of falls at the worst possible time, and fortunately for him, he kind of dodges a bullet. The outstretched arms of the receiver, but you can see how he's on the ground, and I think it was inadvertent.
Monin,
it was a good no call.
Inadvertent trip. Walkowitz on a short pickup. Good job, Paul Ogden coming up from his defensive tackle slot to make the hit.
And let's go back to the keys of the game. One of the things we mentioned is Ramapo's need to control the offensive line of scrimmage, and that's what they're doing.
Walkowitz with an impressive evening.
Look at the time that they're giving him to throw the ball. He's going to have a great quarterback, but if he's on his back all the time or running for his life, won't mean much.
3rd and 7. From the 40, play action Gross. Near side completes. Close to the first down to Miller.
That's a flood pattern. They run Pizarro and Miller together, and then they just break off, make the cornerback play monkey in the middle. It looks like he has it. By about a half a ball.
Yes, it is.
You'll see two guys in the same, two green shirts in the same part of your screen. Number 6 and the receiver. See how close they are together. And that makes the cornerback play monkey in the middle, and that time he guessed incorrectly.
As the clock runs down here in the 3rd quarter, see if they get one more play off. 1st and 10 at the 47. 3 seconds, 2 seconds, and they do not get the play off. That's the end of the 3rd quarter. An impressive run by the Raiders with 10 3rd quarter points and a 24-14 lead. We'll be back with 4th quarter action right after this.
Gang Green is back with new leadership and a new attitude. Get all the team news, interviews, and analysis. Heineken Jets Journal.
I've always loved working on computers, and in the Army, that's what I do.
If you never thought about the U.S. Army or Army Reserve, think about this. There are 212 ways for you to become a soldier and work at a job you love. Call the number on the screen right now for this free video to find out which job is right for you. And discover the 212 ways you can be an army of one.
I love what I do.
The gazelle elephant, the platypussycat. The race to create such magnificent animal hybrids is extremely competitive. But ever since 2001, we've had a technological edge, a fiber optic communications network from LightPath. It allows us to share vast amounts of data with our research partners faster and more securely. And that's led to our greatest success, the golden retriever. Thank you, LightPath.
To a garden party.
Welcome back to Ramapo High School, everybody, as we get set to start the 4th quarter of action. The Raiders at the 47-yard line, 1st and 10 after the completion from Gross to Miller for the first down. 24-14 Raiders. Here's Walkowitz, brought down immediately for no gain. What a job by Greg Olson from his defensive end slot. Let's look at the 3rd quarter stats.
Well, the most impressive part of these stats is look at the combined total offense of both of these teams.
Wow.
540-something yards combined, and you got to remember, there was one 50-yard pass that was called back, so the offensive potency of both of these teams is incredible.
Look at the ground advantage, though, on the ground. 187.
Yeah, the 187 to 86. Ramapo relying on Tom Gross, which we kind of knew he would do.
2nd down and 10. Play action. Gross being pursued. Airing it out. Underthrown, incomplete. This copyrighted telecast is produced by the authority of Cablevision. It is intended solely for the private, non-commercial use of our audience. Any reproduction or retransmission of the pictures and accounts of this game without the expressed written consent of Cablevision Sports is strictly prohibited. And you see the Ramapo Raiders sideline. They got to be pleased with the way their team has played here tonight. An underdog coming in without their star back, Chris Anzano, but Josh Walkowitz rising to the occasion at tailback. Tommy Gross, the quarterback, sometimes overshadowed. Walkowitz in this game, by the way, 143 yards in the first half, only 19 so far here in the second half. But we've seen Tommy Gross going to the air with more frequency.
It's going to be encroachment against Wayne Hills. I thought 36, Brian Williams kind of bolted across too quickly.
The penalties have been plentiful.
Dead ball foul, encroachment, defense.
Yeah, we see Brian Williams, who's on a stunt on the weak side. He's going to blow across at the bottom of your screen. Watch his helmet right there. He's encroached, which means he's broken the invisible plane, regardless of the fact if he's made contact or not. You know, the other part of the thing about Ramapo, you talked about the great success offensively, but they've really negated Brian Williams' running attack and made Chris Olson completion statistics very, very questionable. They've done a great job in the secondary, which of course was the big question with Anzano's absence.
Absolutely, and Ryan Williams has done a real nice job at strong safety. 4 penalties for Wayne Hills for 30 yards. Walkowitz sweeping right side. Look at that burst of speed. He's a fleet-footed junior tailback. He'll be short. That was a 3rd and 6 play. Picked up maybe 4 yards. It's going to set a 4th and 2. And this is an interesting situation, interesting opportunity on the play calling. With a player down on the field for Ramapo. Here's Walkowitz, who's back up. Let's hope he is not badly injured. He will come off for a play.
Now let's find out how the number 3 running back is. Well, it's fortuitous in the sense that they didn't get the first down. That'll give them a play to sit out. This is just a great play selection on the part of Ramapo, stretching the field vertically, laterally, making Wayne Hills defend every section of the field. Deep fades, sweeps, traps, keeping them off balance.
Now remember, on a previous 4th and short, there was a fake punt. Now this time they will punt. And Pizzari on a run. They made a nice gain. Here is Monin on the return, who's taken down. Good coverage.
Kevin Donlin doing the job on that time, just getting downfield and being in position to make a tackle.
And again, from a field position perspective, Ramapo winning the territorial advantage.
And that's big. That is big, making him climb that hill again now. Well, they got to climb it, another 80-yard hill.
And after 6 straight starts from their own 20, they start now again from deep at the 21. So they do gain 1 yard on the advance from their start for Chris Olson and company.
And then Olson's going to make Olson start to have to go to the air a little bit more, and that could cause trouble.
Christian Olson, near side. Monin on the completion, and Monin out of bounds at the 36-yard line, a gain of 15.
See, there you see the benefit of that cover 2 we talk about. That is 2 safeties, 1 on each hash mark. That time the lone receiver, number 16, Bill Monin, gets the attention of the safety who comes over to help out the cornerback, who's funneled them into the middle of the field.
9th straight pass for Wayne Hills. So the Olson-Monin connection, one of the best pass-catch combos in northern New Jersey.
There he is at the top of the screen.
Olson near side for his little brother, incomplete. Greg Olson made a nice attempt for that ball.
But again, into double coverage.
Again, Ryan Williams has had a nice game at strong safety, defending out there. Kevin Donlin from his linebacker slot also helping out. This is Drew Gibbs. First-year coach is not lost up here in Franklin Lakes. He's 7-0, looking to go 8-0. He's got a 10-point lead with 10:17 remaining in regulation.
We talked about special teams. Even if they score now, Wayne Hill still has to score again. And that's because of that 3-point special teams. Got trips to the top of the screen.
Second down and 10. Flags thrown. Olson unleashing, completing, and then they say incomplete. On that pass downfield to Dallas Lynch.
Olson getting out, looking to be roughing the passer, perhaps against Ramapo, but
could be a hold. Let's wait for the call.
Yeah. In any event, Olson getting up very slowly, having been hammered by the ensuing pass rush.
The referee, Steve Turner, talking to Blake Constanzo, one of the Ramapo captains. Let's hear the call.
Motion, offense, declined, third down.
Okay, so there you hear it. So the 3rd and 10 as they decline the penalty. 11 straight passes for Wayne Hills. They trail by 10. Still plenty of time left. 10-10 remaining. But this is a big play here on this drive. 3rd and 10 from the 36-yard line. Olsen almost taken down. Unleashes it downfield and overthrows the intended receiver, Dallas Lynch. Great rush that time. Coming in was Mike Sisler, the defensive end.
The back judge almost had his first reception of the evening, though. That ball was closer to him than probably anybody else on the field. I'm not quite sure who the intended receiver was, but he may have just been trying to loft that away from the coverage.
It looked like it might have been Dallas Lynch downfield, but Brendan Monahan will come on to punt again. Olsen 13 of 29 for 144 yards.
Here's that field position game again. He's got to get a good punt off and get some good coverage.
Monahan. A better punt this time. It takes a good Wayne Hills roll. And it'll go dead around the 24-yard line, where Ramapo will have some of their worst field position.
Yeah, with their diverse play selection, though, they've been able to make Wayne Hills really play that field completely, sideline to sideline, end zone to end zone, and that's really the trick of it all.
The last 4 drives for Ramapo from midfield, 33-23, the 33 of Wayne Hills. So there were 2 situations where they're either in midfield or in Wayne Hills territory, then their own 23, and now from their own 24. They want to use some clock here with 9:51 remaining in a 10-point lead.
Walkowitz back in the backfield.
Recchione in motion. It goes to Walkowitz. Walkowitz around the left side, going forward across the 30 to the 31 for a 7-yard gain.
And that's fine. You pick up 7 yards every time you run a sweep. You can chew up a lot of clock. Just a plain old toss sweep. Get that wingman in motion out in front. Here comes a couple of linemen. And it's just off to the races. Chewing up clock. No timeouts.
I'll call it 2nd and 4 from the 30-yard line.
And a good passing down.
And also still a good time perhaps to use up clock again, and they will go that route. Greg Olsen. Oh, what a defensive end he is. Greg Olsen, he is some prospect. 6'6", 230, a junior, coming in to make the tackle for a loss. And he has done that frequently. He has 8 sacks this year, that time. And 20, make that 21 tackles for a loss on the year. That is impressive.
The size going with that speed is what really gets your attention. You know, you see a lot of quick football players or a lot of big guys, but the combination of size and speed.
And that clock continues to roll. 8:35 remaining. 3rd and 7 from the 27. Walkowitz stopped after perhaps a yard. It's going to set up a 4th down punting situation. Monahan in on the tackle, along with Hannenberg.
Just an attempt at a quick trap, hoping to catch something off the B-gap off the left side. Didn't quite work. There you see Walkowitz is holding up his own tonight. He's trying to slip through there, but nothing for him to get to.
Costanzo on the punt. Good snap. And a good high kick. Fair catch, and Pignatello fumbles and manages to fall back on it at the 43-yard line. So Wayne Hills will take over with 7:50 remaining in the 4th quarter.
Seen a lot of officials over the last few weeks being a little bit lenient in how fair catches are called. In high school football, you've got to raise your hand clearly above your helmet and wave it back and forth twice. And they're letting them get away with hands below the shoulder pad, just one little wave there.
This is the best start from scrimmage for Wayne Hills tonight from their 43-yard line. Brian Williams across the 45 for a pickup of 2.
Well, they got to score twice now with 7:40 left.
Give credit also to those defensive tackles for Ramapo. Jim Iskanian and Adam Visconti have had strong games in the trenches. And that 4-3 defense for Ramapo.
And Recchione out of his middle linebacker spot. That Mike spot so important in this 4-3 alignment. He's got to be all over the place.
Recchione, a Division I lacrosse recruit. 2nd and 8. Olson, good time, incomplete, intended for Pignatello, who lost his footing. It'll be 3rd.
Of course, we haven't mentioned the field tonight, how beautiful it is. It's the synthetic turf. What's the term
field,
they use?
Field turf in its 2nd year here at Ramapo. Indian Hills and Bergen Catholic have similar surfaces.
It seems a little bit less tight than the Bergen Catholic.
It's a newer surface. There's also what they call Astro Play, which Montclair Kimberly Academy has just opened with this year. A little even lusher kind of quality, almost like grass.
I got here, I just want to like roll around on the ground and wrestle a little bit.
It's great for the groundskeepers, that's for sure. Throwing deep for Greg Olson. Oh! He's got it, he juggles. Greg Olson, touchdown, Wayne Hills.
What concentration, how he adjusted to the ball off his shoulder pad.
54 yards, Christian Olson to junior brother Greg Olson, and Wayne Hills strikes the claw back with 6:59 remaining. They'll go for the extra point to cut it, attempt to cut it to 24-21.
This is a huge extra point, needless to say, so they can come back in field goal range and even it up.
That's Greg's 7th TD reception of the year. Greg, 5 receptions for 109 yards. Here's the important extra point kick for Pignatello. The placement down, the kick is up, and the kick is good. So we got ourselves a barn burner here for the final 6:59, 24-21.
Now Greg is completely turned around here, and he has to adjust it, and you know, he does something that you're not supposed to do, let that ball get into your shoulder pads, but with his great concentration, look at that shot, with his great concentration, he twists his body around and picks it off that shoulder pad, and then drags it in, scampering in.
Could you someday see perhaps these two, the brother combination, as a pass-catch combo in South Bend, Indiana for Notre Dame? Who knows? 3 plays, 56 yards, 101 it took. Olson to Olson, what a combination. And we have seen Wayne Hills continue to come back in this game.
Well, I see Greg Olson in the college level as an outside, perhaps weak side linebacker.
He's something else because his ability to get into an opposition's backfield, he is terrific. I think he can play either spot, but you're right.
But you want to take that speed and put it on defense.
For sure. Here's Pignatello to kick off
on the weak side.
For Wayne Hills. Will be Pizzari. Remember, he returned one earlier to the 35-yard line. Pizzari this time dragged down across his own 30. Good coverage by Jeff Wells. We've had 622 total yards in this football game. 336 yards for Ramapo. 286 for Wayne Hills. And folks, we still have 6:53 remaining.
And this is coming from two teams who've combined all year long have given up less than 7 points a game.
In Ramapo, they want to use up clock, try to get a couple of first downs. But you don't want to go out of your offense totally. Tommy Gross over center. He'll pass it on a timing pattern and well overthrowing Pizzari on the far sideline.
Little miscommunique there, I believe.
Stops the clock with 6:49 remaining.
That was supposed to be an out and up, and I think Ryan just kept it as an out. But I like the idea how Ramapo was not conservative. They tried to stretch the field, keep Wayne Hills off balance, not going into a prevent offense here. Going to keep doing the things they do well, keep the Wayne Hills defense off balance.
Remember last year's regular season meeting, 27-24 Wayne Hills winning, and in the playoffs, 14-7 Ramapo. More of the same, and this is round 1 of 2001. Walkowitz dragged down after a 5-yard gain.
Jeff Wells playing that outside linebacker spot, just barely making the tackle. Watch number 1 at the top of the screen. All this is just a handoff sweep. Number 1 just holding on for dear life. There he comes. Chewing up the clock, moving up the ball, 3-4 yards at a clip. That's all they need.
Look at those total yard figures. 340 to 286. Impressive numbers.
Particularly because of these defenses being so stingy all year long.
3rd and 5 for the Raiders. From the 37. It'll be Walkowitz. Walkowitz is brought down short of the first down marker across the 40 at the 42. Monahan making the tackle from his safety position.
Now, if Andrew Recchione just comes up and makes a little bit better block here, that goes for much bigger yardage. He sits and he waits for the defender to come to him rather than stepping up and hitting the defender. And by that time, the tackle is made.
Well, Wayne Hills is going to get the ball back with plenty of time. 5:25, clock moving, 24-21. Costanzo to punt. Deep are Pignatello and Monin.
Good punt.
It's Monin at his 30, is hit, ball loose.
Could be Ramapo.
And the Raiders have it. That's where you wanted the fair catch.
He should have put the fair catch up right away. That ball hung up there way too late. We've got a penalty flag on the play, perhaps sportsmanlike conduct against Wayne Hills. What a smack, but that's just great punt coverage. Well, he is supposed to give the receiver of the punt one step, which he did not do that time.
Unsportsmanlike, it's White.
Oh,
First
boy,
down.
that was a big ball.
Officials did not see it that way. They thought that he gave him the step. What I believe happened was on the ensuing enthusiasm. See, now he doesn't quite give him a step. He's on him right away, but he does make contact with the ball, and of course that is discretionary on the part of the official. And the penalty comes from the Wayne Hills bench coming onto the field.
1st and 10 at the 13. Gross on a timing pattern for Pizzari. He's got it. Touchdown, Ramapo. And just like that, Ramapo puts this game out of reach, it would appear. Ryan Pizzari. He can do it in so many ways. 6 receptions, 92 yards. In this important insurance touchdown. Troutman will come on for the extra point attempt to try to make it a 10-point lead with 5:03 remaining in the 4th quarter. Troutman's kick is up, and it's good. 31-21.
Rick Pignatello is getting picked on this play. He does get turned around and doesn't get a good, clear view of the ball. He plays the man instead of the ball, and we've talked about week after week how you have to play the ball and not the man. Defense wasn't terrible, but he does, as I say, have his back to the quarterback, and he's trying to read the eyes of the receiver. And that's just a great catch, great athleticism, and boy, could that come at the right time.
And Wayne Hills with 2 turnovers and have led to 14 Ramapo points.
I love when these camera guys get into the huddle like this. Just good camera work.
The grittiness of the gridiron. Not really the grittiness here on this field turf surface, but it's intense action on the sideline.
Well, let's not count Wayne Hills out yet, though. There's 5 minutes left, and they've been known to put up big numbers pretty quickly.
And again, the kicking game weapon comes in here with Troutman kicking off. Remember, he has forced touchbacks.
Just don't give
every kickoff here.
That's right. You
tonight.
don't give that kickoff receiving team a chance to return the ball.
5:03 remaining, 31-21 Ramapo. Glad you could be with us here on our MSG Tri-State Game of the Week, and all our fans watching on our Cablevision North Jersey Game of the Week. Steve Tober, David Weinberg, statistician Bill Bromberg, and what has been another in a series of the great rivalry in the NBIL. Troutman kicking off. This one is shorter. Finally, a chance for a return for Monin. Monin finding some running room. Flag thrown as he is knocked out of bounds near the 35-yard line. And we'll wait for the call by referee Stephen Turner on this one.
That kind of play, that with a flag that late into it is usually some sort of an illegal block or holding on the part of the kickoff receiving team.
Unsportsmanlike. Offense.
And sportsmanlike. Don't like to see that.
Well, it's kind of like a generic call for a number of different infractions. But
very good teams from the tri-state area.
Yeah, they win tonight. They're going to get out of the taxi into the limo.
1st and 10, and we'll keep the ball on the ground here with Walkowitz. Picks up a yard.
There's that little trap play again.
Josh Walkowitz has been certainly one of the stars of the game for the Ramapo Raiders with 2 touchdown runs. He got them jump-started, 48 yards in the first quarter, 71 yards in the second quarter, and really got them off the snide and got that offense rolling, opening things up later and giving the opportunity for Groves to go to the air. Walkowitz, 24 carries for 179 yards.
I tell you what, as odd as this may sound, I'd consider the kicker as one of the MVPs of the game as well.
Ricky Krautman, who's Drew Gibbs checks his watch. He's looking to go to 8-0. He has not lost up here at Franklin Lakes. Walkowitz with a big haul off the right side. Monin with a tackle will set up a 3rd and short and keep that clock still going. Now a stoppage and a timeout.
And again, going back to the keys to the game, there's that offensive line play of Ramapo. They knew going in they would have to control the defensive ends, and they've done that very well tonight.
Well, Drew Gibbs has been very happy with his left side of his line. Justin King, the left tackle, Jim Ishkanian, the left guard, who have been side by side now. Joe Barcelona, the center, who missed a couple of games with a hip injury. Adam Visconti, who had broken his hand, the right guard, had been the starter at tackle, missed 2 weeks, and has since moved to right guard. So they've had some movement on that offensive line position-wise, with Visconti going from tackle to guard, and Carson Parmalee, the outstanding senior, the captain up front, as Drew Gibbs likes to call him. You saw the numbers by Walkowitz, and that is due to that great job by that front 5, in addition to the tight end Costanzo, who is a converted guard, taking over for Ryan Watson, who's now at Princeton.
Well, all guards want to be tight ends anyway, or fullbacks.
Costanzo is one of the captains.
And you know, and poor Joe, besides Barcelona, besides getting his hip smacked up, also had his head beaten in a little bit.
Yes, he did.
So he had both ends of his body kind of
with a concussion for Mr. Barcelona. Here's Walkowitz for the first, and that is a big first down, because that'll get that clock motoring ahead. It stops at 2:17 here, but once they put the yard markers down,
Wayne Hills looks a little deflated here. They got to step up the energy if they've got this.
2:17 to go, 31-21. The Ramapo Raiders with an impressive victory to move to 8-0 on the season and win the NBIL Division I, a title that Wayne Hills has won the last 3 years.
And what a feather in his cap for Drew Gibbs to be able to come into a program like this and fill the shoes of Mike Mielo and do it in such class fashion here. Good for him.
Recchione in motion. 1st and 10, Walkowitz diving forward for 3 yards inside the 30, down to the 28. And a timeout with 1:46 remaining.
It's the only thing Wayne Hills can do to stop the Ramapo offense at this point in time is just stop the clock.
As Drew Gibbs heads out to the field. Remember, this game, if Ramapo wins, they will most likely get the top seed in Section 1, Group 3. And Wayne Hills could end up with a 4 seed, which means these two teams could meet in the semifinals, perhaps, on November 17th.
And we have a deja vu all over again, like last year.
And let's look at our next game coming up on November 24th, Thanksgiving weekend, will be Bergen Catholic at St. Joe's.
I'm going to miss you guys. What am I going to do for these
You'll have to watch Sports Scene,
which I do anyway,
Tuesday nights at 7 o'clock. There you see where you can watch the football game. But if you want to see highlights of all these games, tune into Sports Scene every Tuesday night at 7 o'clock, every Wednesday at 8:30 p.m., every Thursday at noon, and every Friday
I'm going to have to
at
double
9
up. I'm
p.m.
going to have to watch it twice a week. I'm going to have to watch Meet the Leaders twice a week. I caught Mike Quick this morning, you know, at 10:30.
And then you can tune into Mike's show Thursday night at 7:03 p.m. on MSG to see High School Weekly. Let's get it all. Walkowitz inside the 25-yard line.
Speaking of Joe Barcelona, you see the great push he got that time up the middle in order to create that running lane right to his left in the A-gap. What a great push off the ball that time.
Joe Barcelona, we mentioned the hip problem, the concussion. He is a solid center at 6'3", 225, a junior. And they got some youth up front there when you talk about the left side with King, Ishkanian, juniors, Barcelona, a junior. Walkowitz, 196, looking to approach the 200-yard marker in terms of yardage here today. He came in the game with 265, and what a job he's done filling in for the injured Chris Anzano out for the season-ending knee injury. Walkowitz takes it over the 200-yard marker as he's dragged down around the 15-yard line.
Chewing up the clock each time as well.
What a day for Josh Walkowitz, 5'10", 185-pound junior. Gets a hug from Blake Costanzo. 204 yards rushing tonight. And 50 seconds, the clock continues to roll. The Ramapo Raiders.
Just long enough to reset the stakes on that first down.
Improving to 8-0 on the season. And they will move on as the top seed in Section 1, Group 3, it would appear to be. Tommy Gross takes a knee. 30 seconds left, and that should about do it. What a game it has been for Ramapo. And how happy is the Ramapo sideline? You can see it right there. They've worked so hard, this first-year staff under Drew Gibbs. As the clock winds down, the Ramapo Raiders have defeated the Wayne Hills Patriots 31-21 to improve to 8-0 on the season as Wayne Hills falls to 7-1.
And for the 5th consecutive years, the Patriots come out on the short end. This time marks the 2nd consecutive year it happened against rivals Ramapo in the Section 1 Group 3 championship. They lose by 4, 14-10. Real good defense played in this game today by both teams, and Wayne Hills got the big play first on D. Chris Hannenberg with the interception, and that would help lead the Patriots to their first score of the day. Chris Olson, the quick hitter to Billy Monin, the senior, breaks the tackle, goes 25 yards down to the 19-yard line of Ramapo High School, where 3 plays later on a 3rd and 19, Olson puts it up. Monin, great concentration, pulls it in, 7-0 Patriots. Late second now, 10-0 Wayne Hills when Ramapo gets their first big offensive play of the day. Junior Josh Walkowitz bounces it to the outside and races 32 yards to help set up this, Ramapo's first touchdown. Senior quarterback Tom Groves, touchdown pass number 23 on the year to Ryan Fasari, 17 yards. The touchdown pass breaks Chris Sims' single-season mark of 22. 10-7 at the half. Fourth quarter, Walkowitz instrumental in the game-winning 80-yard touchdown drive. The drive took 5.5 minutes, and it ended when the junior went in from 5 yards out. A month ago, you're the backup running back. Today, you scored the winning touchdown in the state championship. Unbelievable stuff.
This was a war. This was a war. The line came out to play today, and we were slow in the beginning of the game. Coach told us before, at the end of the 3rd quarter, that we're going to wear them down. This is our drive of the game, and we did it.
You replace a legend, and then you go unbeaten, and you win another sectional title. I don't think you could have even dreamt this.
Feels pretty good. Feels pretty good. I got a group of excellent football players and excellent assistants.